Welcome to my knits and my latest WIP. My name is Karen and I'm joining you from Toronto, Canada. In this video, I'm going to share what I've knit in the last month and also what I have on my needles. Hopefully there's something here that will inspire you, as so many in the online knitting community have inspired me. Let's get started. Today I have 8 finished objects from the month of June that I've knit that I'm going to share with you. You can see they are a variety of items that I've knit, and oddly enough these are all gifts that some I have with me and have yet to gift to others, and some I have already gifted but I have great pics for you to see. So on to the first one. So the first finished object that I wish to share with you is the Magnolia Ascot. It is a design by Pearl Soho. It is a free pattern, and I chose to make this item because my sister-in-law told me that it's something that her dad always wears, and I wanted to make him something for the holidays. So this is what I chose to make him. She said he wears these and he could use a new one. So I searched on Ravelry, found a number of patterns. This one happened to be free, so I thought I would give it a try. So here we have the ascot, and you'll notice in the back there's a place to pull the other one through. This I made with 4mm needles. And I used a very different, unusual yarn that I'm going to show you. I picked this up at a thrift shop in another location, another city where I was visiting a friend. And it's on a spool, as you can see, and there wasn't any information in the spool to tell me what it is. And I'm just going to hold it up really, really closely to the camera so you can see. Maybe I have to go like that. But it's a number of little tiny threads. And I think it's something that they use to make suits, I'm guessing, but I thought it was really interesting. It's got gray and it looks like a tweed and a maroon. So I thought, I'm going to take it. I made a pair of socks. They turned out fine. So I thought it would be something to use for this ascot, and I'm really happy with it. The pattern was really easy. There wasn't anything new that I learned. Perhaps the only thing that I would do if I made the pattern again, and I certainly would make the pattern again, is I don't think that I would use this fiber. I would use something maybe a little softer for around the neck. But yeah, so that's the ascot for the gentleman in Quebec. This second finished object is the soda shawl. It's a design by Drops Designs, and it actually is called the pink soda shawl, but if you search Ravelry, search by soda shawl, it'll appear as well. So this is a knit that I made for the gentleman in Quebec. This is the gift for his wife. So this shawl is made with mohair, and this is mohair, quite fluffy mohair that I bought online from Etsy, and I put the logo of the company on the screen there, and I've also put the link to the company on Etsy. I put the link in the description below. So this design is quite lovely. It has a very lacy edge, and I'm going to hold that up for you, and it also has like a little picot edging, which is quite lovely, and it's quite a long, very airy and fluffy. Looks lovely on, and I knit this with that fluffy mohair and used a 4.5mm needle. Really happy with it. I love this shawl. What I learned when I was making it was definitely that edging. I've done it before, but I can't always remember it, so I have to go and watch tutorials on how to do that. And then what I Would change if I did it again? I don't think anything. Would I make the pattern again? Absolutely, but I wouldn't change anything. I think it turned out quite lovely, and I'm happy to gift this to um, Miss Monique, who will wear this. She's knit worthy. She's worn a number of other items that I've shared with her. So that's the soda shawl. On to the next. So next we have the cabled pocket scarf, and the designer's name is there, Vanessa. And this particular scarf I don't have with me to show you because I've already gifted it to a friend. She wanted a scarf with pockets, and I found this pattern. It is a free pattern on Ravelry. And while we were vacationing in Argentina, I had visited a number of yarn shops, and so we found this yarn, and I'm going to show you the tab. I bought it at a store called Yanabe. This is 100% acrylic yarn, and that was excellent for this particular project because my friend needed something that was not wool because she is allergic to wool. And this yarn is actually really, really soft, and it's hand dyed, so it was perfect for this project. She wanted something in the colorway of green. When I started to knit this and saw how bright it was, I was a little bit nervous, but I finished, we gifted, and she was absolutely thrilled with it. So I'm glad that I'm not doing another one, although I would do another one. The pattern was really easy to do. I used a 6mm needle, so it knit up quite quickly. There's pockets on both ends of the scarf, and I'm really happy with it. And so is she. On to the next. This finished object happens to be a pair of socks, the Nighty Night Sleep Socks, and it is found, the pattern's found on Ravelry, but also in this book from the ladies on the east coast of Canada. And I actually bought this book for myself a couple years ago, and I selected the Nighty Night sock to make for my friend with whom I traveled with to Buenos Aires. She bought the yarn, and this was a gift for her to have a memory of our trip. So the yarn that I used is 100% merino sock yarn. It's a fingering weight yarn. It's called Bespoke Yarns, and it is 100% merino, and it's Alina Wabi is the actual name of the yarn, and there's a picture of it. It's got a lot of blue and some mauve and cream. Because it's 100% merino, I was concerned for the wear on the merino, so I added some mohair that I had in my stash. It's mohair, merino, and nylon. Very, very thin yarn. I added that when I was knitting these socks, and I used a 3mm needle. What was really cute about these socks is the lovely rippled edging that they have, and it just looks so cute. A little bit thicker than your typical sock because I had the merino along with the mohair nylon, and but they turned out lovely, and is a great gift for her to remind her of our trip. I'm excited to share this cringe stuffy. This pattern is by Maria Ermolova, and she's also known as Pelushka Bunny. She has amazing patterns for stuffies. So if you're into making stuffies, toys, definitely check her out. I've made a number of her stuffies, and I'll share them with you. What I really like about Maria's patterns is that you can knit these stuffies flat and then sew them together, or you can knit them in the round. She gives instructions for both. Another thing that she does that is fantastic is she has video instruction to show you how to create all these special details on the face and on the rest of the body of whatever stuff you're making. And naturally, you're increasing and decreasing to get the shape of this head, but she has all kinds of other tips and tricks of how to do the sinking of the eyes and so on. So her video instructions are most helpful. And really, when you break this down, it's the head, 2 arms, the body, and the legs, and depending on the stuffy, there might be a tail or another feature. So it's really a quick knit, and then stuffing it, and then putting on all these little extra features that make it extra special. I will tell you that the scarf does not come with Maria's pattern. I did that as an extra. I had seen it in one of her samples, and so I decided to knit that myself and put it in as with this stuffy. So if you take a look at my Ravelry page for the Grinch, you'll see the little, I put instructions of, I mean, it's pretty simple, but if you want to follow, the instructions are on my page in the notes section. I'll tell you about the yarn that I used to create this stuffy. First of all, the green is an acrylic worsted green that we picked up in Argentina, again at the same shop that we got the other green fiber. And the red and white are all Cascade 220 yarns. And the red in this particular one is color 1922. And to emphasize his eyebrows and his nose, Maria recommends a darker green. So I picked up, oops, you don't need to see that red. I picked up this Charisma. It's a darker green. It's number 47. So that I used. And then I just had some scrap black yarn to do the eyes and the mouth. In most of Maria's patterns, she uses safety eyes to create her characters. However, in my case, I'm gifting a lot of these stuffies to families with little ones, and I'm a little bit nervous about the safety eyes. I'm sure they work well, but I just don't want that responsibility. So I just use yarn and I embroider the eyes on. What I love about her stuffies is that all of the limbs are movable. There isn't anything that I have to sew together. I definitely have to sew the arms and the legs onto the body. And in this pattern, you actually knit, once you finish the head, you knit the rest of the body attached to the head. The stuffing that I use is from a local shop here in Toronto on Queen Street. It's a fabric store that has all these notions and buttons, and they have the stuffing for these creatures. And here's an example. So this is 1 pound bag of stuffing, and it's vacuum packed. So it's ideal. And the stuffing comes then in these little cloth bags, which I use to store the stuffies until I gift them. So it's a perfect size. So the name of the store is Nevrins, and I put a link to that store in the description below. They are fabulous for all kinds of extras that you might need to create these animals, or even for buttons for sweaters. Wonderful, wonderful store, and I'm lucky to walking distance. I also made, this was my first Grinch, and I'm going to show you all the other stuffies that I made that come from Maria's patterns. This first Grinch is a little bit darker than the most recent one that I did. My friend picked out the lighter green that she wanted. This one I'm gifting to a family member, and I used, again, Cascade yarn for this, a Cascade 220, and the colorway for that green is, I'm just taking a look here so that you can see it, it is 841, which is more of a moss garden green. So, and the other one that I'm going to share with you is her snowman pattern. So a friend of mine loves Christmas and loves to decorate, so I thought I would give her this once the holiday time comes. This snowman stuffy, made just like all the others, the head, the body, arms, and legs. Cute little nose. And I added the hat extra and I added the scarf as an extra. So if you want to do this one and you want that same hat, I have that on my Ravelry page right around the same space and time where I have included the snowman. So those are the stuffies that I've made. One other stuffy I put him behind me, is the bear. And he's a little bit smushed. I made 3 of these that are also going to be gifts for Christmas. Isn't he cute? And I used a headband elastic and made a little bow tie. So this too is a pattern from Maria. It's her bear pattern. And just to show you, it's so, so cute. I've made a few of these that I will gift at Christmas for little babies in our families. Yeah, so those are all the stuffies by Maria. Look at my holes. This design is by James M. Watts, and I've made quite a number of these. I love the pattern. It's really easy to follow. It's on Ravelry. It's a purchase pattern. I received from a friend a bag of yarn, this particular yarn, and I'm going to tell you a little more about it. She bought it in a thrift shop, and I think on the bag it said $6, and she said she got it for 50% off. So it was a whole bag of this. It's part cotton, viscose, and an acrylic or a polyamide. It is made in West Germany, definitely older yarn, and it has some texture to it. So I wasn't really sure what I was going to do with it, but because it was a cotton, I thought this would be great as something you could put over a tank or over a bathing suit. So I made the Look at My Holes design for her, and I followed exactly the pattern. I think the pattern tends to make it a little bit short, but I made it so that it was full body for her. And I also did a split seam with the ribbing at the bottom because it's a top-down construction. And the rest I followed the pattern to a T because it works out really, really well. And I've already gifted her the creation. She gave the yarn and I gave the garment. Easy Cabled Headband is a design by Daria Mark, and I recently finished that and also gifted it to another friend. And I have a few other things on here that I'm going to share with you, and then I'll tell you more details about the headband and why I made it. So when I was with this particular friend, she mentioned that her favorite mittens that I make are the Vienna mittens by Petite Knit, and there's a picture of them right there. So I had made those for her along with the initiation cowl, and I put links to both of these particular designers and those patterns in the description below. And so I had made these, I don't know, last winter, maybe even the winter before, but she had mentioned that she really liked those mittens. And I said, oh yeah, I know which ones you mean. And the ones where I made that cowl. And she goes, no, there was no cowl. And I said, yeah, the mittens matched the cowl. She said, no, it was mittens and a headband. And I said, I don't think so. And she goes, yeah. And I said, so she started to describe the design. And I said, that's not a headband. And she said, oh my goodness, I thought it would seem kind of weird because I was wearing it on my head and it looked kind of odd. I'm like, oh my goodness. Anyway, that was the joke. We had a good laugh after that. And so I came home and I looked in my stash and I found that I had a little bit of yarn left. And I thought, I am going to make her a real headband. So here it is, the Easy Cabled Headband. It was a free pattern. And I used 3.75 millimeter needles to make it. The yarn I used, I have very little of the yarn left, but I'll show you the tab for this. It is 30% silk, 70% merino wool. Lovely, lovely yarn, and it is kettle dyed. And when I made this headband, the pattern is only for one side. I did it in the round so that I was making the front and the back side at the same time. So the band is actually quite thick. It's much thicker than the instructed pattern, but it turned out quite lovely. And I did a provisional cast on, and I ended with live stitches. I brought them together and then Kitchener stitched it together to make it a nice finish. And so I then sent her this headband and said, now this is a true headband, and you have a cowl, and now you have matching mitts. Here's the last finished object that I wish to share with you today. It's called Mesh with Summer. It's a free pattern from Drops Design. And I have a picture of one here, and I have another one that I made that I can show you. The actual design, or the actual pattern, is quite lengthy down to, I think, the model's knees, and it has quite a large slit. And they give instructions to make the shorter version or to make the longer version. So I made this longer, or not quite as long. I made it as a shirt, this white one first, and I made this with 100% cotton. I had this in my stash, and I was making it for a friend who lives in a very hot country, and she was coming to Canada, and I wanted to gift her this. So I decided on this particular pattern. So this pattern is actually made, I used a 6 millimeter needles to make this white one with that yarn. That's worked for gauge for me. So this pattern is actually worked bottom up. You knit the front, you knit the back flat, and then you attach the shoulders down the side, and then you knit the sleeves, and then you sew them in. For me, not so good, because I'm not really good at sewing things together. So I knit the front, left the shoulders on stitch holders, knit the back, and then I Kitchener stitched the back and the front shoulders together. Then I sewed the side, left the slit as the pattern does. I left a slit before the band at the bottom. And then when I sewed it up, I just picked up the stitches along the armhole. I did a number of garter stitches, and then I knit the sleeves in the round. And I then gifted this to my friend when she arrived in Canada, and she went off to visit others, and then she put it on and tried it on and took a picture and showed me it was too short for her. So one thing the pattern does recommend is that you measure it while it's hanging, because the loops will pull downward. But also my comment would be stretch it out a bit, because when they put it on, it also lifts up. So I ended up I asked her to bring it back so that I could add to the bottom. And what I did was just picked up the stitches at the bottom, and I added a number of extra rows for the garter stitches at the bottom, and put on the extra length that she needed. And I think this is going to work out perfectly. So that was the first one. And when she went away and was still in the country, but she was going to bring back that to me, I thought, well, in the meantime, I'm going to make her another one. So I bought, actually I was gifted this Estelle 50% linen, 50% cotton yarn, and I thought, okay, I am going to make her the same thing, but I'm going to make sure it's the proper length for her. So I knit it exactly the same, bottom up, made it longer in the body for her, and I Kitchener stitched the shoulders. And then I decided I'm not going to make this long sleeve. She lives in Costa Rica, it's a very hot country. So I just did the garter stitches in the armhole, and then I cast off. And that was what I did for that pattern. With this yarn, it's a little bit thinner than the white 100% cotton, so I used 6mm for the armhole garter and the body band garter, and then 6.5 throughout the body. I also did the neckline in 6mm, whereas the other one I did the whole thing 6mm. So that is the Mesh with Summer top, and if you want it to be a long top, the pattern is excellent. If I would make it again, it was quite easy to make. It knits up really fast, and I think this one is being enjoyed by her. She sent me a picture of her wearing it back in her country. So those are my knits for June, this past 2025. Hopefully there was something there that was you found intriguing, or it inspires you to create something or to hunt down a pattern on Ravelry. And now here's my latest WIP. And I say WIP singular because I tend to knit one project at a time. I know there are many people out there who can do 2 or 3, 10 WIPs at a time, but that's definitely not me. I like to select a project and I like to focus on that project, and that's what I do. So my present WIP is a ranunculus. I have made, this is my 6th ranunculus. I have made one for a walking buddy of mine, and the other 4 that I made were for myself, and I absolutely love the comfort of this design. 2 of them I have are cotton that I can wear in the spring, fall, and then I have 2 that are woolly wools that I wear in the winter when I'm out walking or skating. So this particular ranunculus that I'm working on is going to be a reminder of my lovely trip to Buenos Aires. I am starting the sleeve, size 3. I am making, I like it bulky and flowy, a little bit larger and roomy, and I'm finished the body, and I'm on to my sleeve. So I'm almost done, which is a good thing because I live in Toronto, and right now we are experiencing temperatures. It's getting hotter again today, close to 30, so I'm not really looking forward to having this on my lap, so I'll probably be standing and knitting while I finish these sleeves, or it might be until cooler days arrive before I finish it. So the yarn that I'm using for this is the lovely fluffy mohair that I had shown earlier for one of my WIPs, the soda shawl I made with this yarn that I bought from a shop on Etsy, and there's the name of the shop, and I'll have the link to the shop in the description below. And I am holding 2 strands, so the strand of mohair along with this woolly wool, this fine olive color that I bought at Lannis. And there's the logo for the shop in San Telmo, which is in an area of Buenos Aires. And I bought lots of that yarn. It's 80% sheep, and I believe 10% viscose and 10% polyamide. So loving the 2 mixed together, giving me a little bit of a marl marled finish with the blue and the green. I'm not really a blue person, so this is a leap for me, but I do love the green, and I think I like the two together, and if I don't, I'll gift it to someone. So I did the collar. This is a top-down pattern for those who don't know it, but it's quite popular pattern. And you can make it with a variety of different fibers. I used a 5mm on the top and on the bottom band of the body, and the body itself I made with 5.5. I'm doing the sleeves 5.5, and then I'll do the cuff of the sleeves with a 5mm. They did an I-cord finish, I think, for the sleeves. I won't be doing that. I'll match it. I'm making it as I have before. I'll match the bottom band of the body and the sleeves to be the same. So that's my present singular WIP. At the start of June, I had the opportunity to travel to Buenos Aires, Argentina, and while I was there, I went to the yarn district and I bought a whole ton of yarn. And I had done that intentionally. I had a plan to go visit that area. And I wanted to share with you, this is all the yarn that I bought. I think this is the whole pile. I've used quite a bit throughout the month of June when I got back, knitting different projects. You can see some of the yarns there that you might have seen earlier with the finished objects and also with my WIP. When I went, I actually wrote down all the projects that I had in mind that I wanted to do and the yarn required, and I carried this book with me that had the list of all those projects and what I needed for the yarn, and that's what I did. I bought yarn purposely for these projects. And that's what I tend to do. I don't have a large stash. I think there might be 2 skeins of yarn in my stash that I bought at Knit City in Toronto a year ago, and the rest is all leftover yarns from other projects. I don't stash because I just don't have the space to do that. And I find for me, it works better if I purchase yarn according to a project that I want to make. And that really works for me. It excites me. When I find something I want to make, then I'm excited to go to the local yarn shops. And I recently did purchase for July and August projects. I went to one of the local yarn shops, Romney Wills. I'm fortunate that in Toronto I have a number of shops that I can go to, and 2 are walking distance. Romney used to have a shop close by, but now I travel by transit or by car to pick up the yarns from that shop. And there's my stash, and what that I purchased here for July and August are projects that I know I have intent and I know what they're going to be used for. So in my queue, I've listed the patterns that I'm going to follow, and I purchased with purpose for these projects. This concludes my video for my knits and my latest WIP. Anything you saw today that caught your eye or something that inspired you, let me know in the comments below, or share what you're working on. Most of my projects that I make are inspirations that I've obtained from other knitters, so I would love to know what you're making, and would love to hear about what you are creating. So until next month, be well and happy creating.